Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. Get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. What's going on, Chicago? Thanks for having me. I'm Kevin Wells in for Luke Stuckmeyer. It's my first time behind the camera tonight doing the CHGO Cubs postgame show. Thrilled to be with you guys. Wanted to thank Jake Flanagan for the opportunity, Kevin Kaduk, and of course, Cody Del Mendo for letting me sit in with him tonight. Cubs gave us so much to talk about, man. Let's get to it, huh?
So much. First off, great introduction. You stepped right in for Stucky. And, for making your debut after this one, Kevin, I got to say, I felt like you were just like Justin Steele tonight. You grinded through it. You just put your hard hat, had your lunch pail, and you grinded through it.
That's a Stacey King reference there, a little Taj Gibson hard hat lunch pail. Yeah, who did you say Justin Steele reminded you of tonight? Not at his best, obviously, but
But that's why you reminded me a lot of John Lester tonight. Because John Lester, as great as he was, he didn't always have the perfect starts. But the thing that John Lester always did was eat each innings. That way your bullpen wouldn't always be taxed. And that was something that Justin Steele did tonight. I did not envision him going 6 innings tonight, and then he did. There's any positive to start the show, that's Justin Steele, man.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly didn't start that way, right? Obviously, Steele, tough first inning, a lot of base runners the first 3 innings of the game. Lights went out on us for a second there. They're heading out early. Sox guys finished up. They got a win tonight. Good for them. But yeah, no, Steele, honestly, it looked like one of those nights where I could have given up, maybe more runs in the first and second inning. Ross comes to get him in the third. Who knows? But kind of what we've seen from him, the longevity of Steele. This is now his 8th start in a row where he's gone 5 strong. He seems to become this solid rotational piece, feels like a rock. You feel kind of solid with him out there now. And not his best stuff tonight, but, he gives you a chance to win. 4 runs is not that bad. The Cubs offense just was hammered by a really good back end of the bullpen and a pretty nice start tonight from this opposing pitcher. So.
There was one inning, I think, where the Cubs had guys on second and third, and Contreras and Happ coming up, and both Contreras and Happ struck out. Contreras
ugly strikeout, man, right?
Hey, Kevin.
What's up, man?
This is awkward. You got to unmute Cody's mic. It got muted.
Yeah, we'll do, man. We got one problem here. We'll unmute Cody.
That's our bad. It was good a couple seconds ago. Cubs Nation, it's Joey. That's my fault, but I'm still picking Hayward tonight.
Am I here? Am I back?
You are back, Cody.
You're so back. Look at that. See, I can double as a production guy.
There
too.
you go.
Right?
That's it. Thank you, guys. Jake, you didn't see that if you were watching.
Shout out to Joey for sticking through you. He's remote today, but he's still somehow being our producer. So sorry for everyone sitting here not understanding a word I was saying. But what I was saying is that Justin Steele looked a lot like John Lester in terms of just being able to eat you innings and give you 6. And then after that, I was getting ready to say that, the Cubs had, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits tonight. And that ain't going to get it done. But again, they had that one inning where they had guys on second and third, and Happ and Contreras come up your 2 best hitters, and they get nothing. I think Contreras came up with less than 2 outs as well. And it's just like, again, that might have been the worst swing I've seen from him this season. And I mean, I'm glad it's coming in the middle of July, but
right. And I almost would have said that maybe he's a little bit gassed. This is his first time behind the plate and hitting and not DHing in over a week, but it was his first at bat. So an ugly strikeout from him. And, if you're not getting the guys in scoring position, that's tough. Steele did, as much as we want to say, Steele didn't have in the first couple innings, he gave them enough to get, played some runners and win a ball game tonight. They just didn't have in the Orioles bullpen it's been the cream of the crop in the American League this year. It's a top 5 bullpen in baseball. I read this on one of their Fox Sports pages. So credit to them. They 5th lowest ERA in baseball, better than that of postseason bullpens such as the Dodgers, Rays, and Brewers coming into tonight. They had every guy and within that bullpen at under a 2.6 ERA, I want to say, except for one of their guys. So just impressive. And we saw that again tonight. No runs out of that bullpen. So that first run came off of starter, didn't it? Morel's sac fly.
Yes, yeah, it
Yeah,
came
so no
off
runs from that
Watkins, and yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about the positives, we want to start with. Do we want to start with the positives? You want to keep going with the negative?
Well,
Because there's not a lot of good.
Let's first let people know where Luke is. If you guys are commenting on where Luke's at tonight, again, just tuning in, I'm Kevin Wells. I'm filling in for Luke tonight. Luke is getting a colonoscopy tomorrow, so our best wishes to him. We have a graphic we'll throw up for him in a bit, but he's out tonight, and I believe he will be out tomorrow as well. So I'll be in doing the pre and post tomorrow as well. So
I wanted to wish graphic,
good luck to our guy Stuck. I've never had one of these. Now, Cody, I did just turn 25, so I'm a little sore. I feel you, Luke. You get a little sore in your old age. My hammies are sore. My back hurts from playing 2 games of softball and getting the shit kicked out of us in that second game and the lights going out.
Absolutely. I'm 31. I'm sore every day. I did a cardio workout today and then came here and ate pizza and ice cream. I got balance, as some might say. But still sore and still feel as old as Luke some days. So I should stop making fun of his age. But everyone knows I can't stop because it's just so funny.
Best wishes to our guy, though.
Miss Stucky, but Kevin's stepping in for Stucky tonight. And I, again, like I said, he grinding through that game. When we started watching the game tonight, I was like, Kevin, for your sake, man, I just hope this game is fun to watch, because for you to make your debut on the CHGO Cubs podcast on camera, I personally would like you to have a fun one to talk about. And then the exact opposite.
Yeah, this one will probably get filed away. No one will remember it except for me. But you know what? That's cool. Let's get to some of the positives tonight. There were some tonight. Justin Steele, I would say, is a net positive.
Yeah. Again, because of the ability to still eat some innings to preserve the bullpen. And, when he left, the Cubs were in the game. It was what, 4-1, right?
Yes.
It was 4-1.
He went through 6, and the Cubs had just scored in that inning with the Morel, Morel scored on the sac fly from Ortega.
Right. Like a good team down 4-1 in the middle innings. That game's not over, but we're talking about the Cubs here, who are not good. But again, when you consider what Justin Steele individually did, he had a good start. He had one that you can take in, and you can take in knowing the rest of the season. If he has starts like this the rest of the season, mixed in with other good ones, you can at least go into next season thinking, all right, well, this guy at least has developed into a solid starter who, even on his bad days or his not so good days, he can still find a way to keep you in the game. And he did that. He also got some help from his defense. The double that was hit, that Happ to Hoerner to Contreras relay throw,
just beautiful.
It looked like it was not gonna, like that looked like a run all the way, but Hoerner shows again on defense how valuable he is. Again, not a lot tonight on the offense. Hoerner did have a hit in the 9th inning, so give him credit there. But on defense, Hoerner continues to be just absolutely incredible at it. So
I mean, he's becoming a notable name at the shortstop position, which is really hard to do in a time in baseball where you can't. Obviously, you're not going to put Nico in that that high end conversation yet, but the shortstop position, premium position in the league. And we're in, a golden age of that position. There's so many guys. And Nico is becoming a guy that was getting some all-star votes, didn't get the nod this year. Obviously, it's going to be a tough position every year for anybody to get that job. But he's batting over 300. He's getting on base. He's walking. And his arm at short and the defensive plays that he makes, I mean, Cubs might have that position filled out for the next couple of years, depending on what they do in the offseason and the Bogarts rumors and the Correa rumors. Nico's like, hang on a minute. This might be my spot to give up, and props to him. He's been my favorite player on this team to watch this year, hands down, no question.
Oh, yeah. From at least as a player who was on the opening day roster, I think Nico Hoerner has to be, everyone's favorite player to watch. Maybe you can put Ian Happ and Wilson Contreras in that conversation as well, but, I think we all kind of assume that we're going to have – we all kind of assume Happ and Contreras would probably be the best players at this point in the season going into opening day. but we didn't know what we were going to get out of Nico Hoerner, and that's what's been fun about watching him play this year.
Mhm.
So again, nothing too crazy from him tonight, but again, that defensive play allowed the Cubs to stay in that game. And again, if you got more offense, who knows? Maybe the Cubs would have came back and won, but you didn't. But it's just the little things when you're in a season like this where you have to take away like how Steele and guys like Thompson are, in situations when they don't have the best stuff. Like how do they get through adversity and keep teams in games? So
Can I take a little bit of a victory lap on my first show here?
sure. What's your victory?
I don't know
lap?
if this is, I don't know. Maybe no, I don't know if people will believe me here. I'm not on the record saying this, but it's kind of one of those takes in my head. I knew Nico Hoerner was going to be one of the best players on this team this year. I watched him play last year, watched him come up a year before that, and kind of, not light the world on fire per se, but he had all the intangibles of a ball player. You watched him come up to the plate this year. I pointed it out earlier in the show. You watch him at the plate, he just looks bigger. Yeah. The arms are bigger. The thighs are bigger. He's doing everything that he can to work his way up in this league. And I don't know, a little bit of a victory. Again, it's not on the record, so nobody could really prove it, but would be my little thing there. Justin Steele also, just double backing on him for another net positive today. Mm-hmm. He didn't make a start in over a week because he was having a child, him and his wife.
Welcome out to Bo.
Yeah, Bo Brooks Steele, born on July 11th, one day after me, believe it or not. So congratulations.
Happy belated.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, it means a lot to me, actually. Justin Steele, new dad, still looking for that first win as a dad, but congratulations to him. I mean, this is pretty great. We've seen now Ian Happ get engaged. So some of these younger / middle-aged guys starting to have some exciting news off the field, which is cool. In a down season, it's, we're still finding points to cheer about them on and see them in their personal lives and succeed is very awesome. So Justin, congrats to you, man. And we hope to see little Bo Brooks on the mound in 20 when would he be eligible?
Well, it's
2040.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I'm not a math guy. Everyone knows I'm not a math guy. Back to what you were saying about Nico Hoerner. It's not that I didn't think he wasn't going to be a good player. Mm-hmm. It was more of like, can he be a guy that you can build around, as in like be one of your core pieces? And I think he's played well enough that you can say he can be one of your core pieces for your next good Cubs team. And I thought before the year that maybe he's more of a role player, but I feel like we're seeing more of, and when I say by role player, I think Patrick Wisdom's a really good role player.
Yes.
Even though he leads his team in homers and everything, but he's not the reason that the Cubs are winning games. Nico Hoerner, when the Cubs win games, Nico Hoerner usually has a big part in it. So that's kind of what I mean by that. But yeah, he's got the youth, he's got the defense, he can play him all over the field. He's been playing shortstop mainly this year, but you can play him at second base. You can play him at third if you absolutely had to.
I was going to say he has a strong enough arm to play third, but I mean,
you'd rather him at short or at second, right?
100%.
So anyway, yeah, I am again, I wouldn't say that I wasn't bought in on it. We needed to see more, right? So I just wanted to add that.
Sure.
What else?
I think Ian Happ too. I mean, Ian Happ again on base 3 times tonight?
3 times, yeah. 2 singles and a walk tonight.
Talk about a guy who just the exponential growth over the last couple of weeks, let alone just this season alone. The career high in OBP, the career high in average, working counts. So well deserving of an all-star nod. Even in bad games, I mean, Ian Happ still shows up. It's pretty awesome. And I'll say this too. I will go on the record with this hot take. They're not trading Ian Happ. He's gonna be on this ball club.
I hope you are correct about that one, Kevin. Me and Luke have sat here and Ryan, we've been on this podcast since March, and that's been the big question, honestly, since Happ started the season so well and has continued it, and now is an all-star. I hope you're right.
And we still have to see the market take shape for him too, right? But what would you, if you're looking at a blank check right now and you're like, Ian Happ, probably a starter on the next great Cubs team, a guy who's not going to be break the bank expensive, but you're thinking 4 to 5 years at maybe just sub 100 million, 80 to 100 million, somewhere in that range. We still have to see the market set for him and see what some of those guys with similar numbers. And now with the all-star nod, that's going to bump it up a bit. But that seems like a Ricketts contract to me. That seems like someone they're going to be like, it's not going to break the bank. It's a guy who's a switch hitter. He can play multiple positions. We value this. This is a type of player that Jed values, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at the chat right now, and of course, Jack R is in the chat. He's always here. Jack is also all here. Isaac, RWB team, who called Luke Steve, and that has become the running joke in the chat every night. Shout out to all you guys. I think I've seen Katie. A few new faces as well. So thank you all. We got 41 people watching this. The Cubs lost 7-1. It was an absolute disgusting game. There was nothing really to take much from it. We have found a way for 16 minutes to find some good things to talk about. We got up to 46 people now. Hit that like button if you haven't already on the YouTube video. I would really appreciate it. It helps find other Cubs fans on YouTube. So with that, I did want to bring up, we sent a tweet, and as I say I sent a tweet from the CHGO Cubs Twitter account tonight, just listing what Rick Sutcliffe said on the Marquee pregame show today of his 5 starters going into 2023. Now, mind you, it is July 13th. We haven't hit free agency. And again, Marquee, since we can basically say whatever we want here, let's just remember that Marquee, they're owned by the Cubs, Ricketts, whatever. They're not going to say other players that aren't on the team, but he gave, and when I say that because he gave his 5 starters for the rotation in 2023 as of today. Mm-hmm. And he went Kyle Hendricks, Marcus Stroman, Keegan Thompson, Justin Steele, and Caleb Killian. Now, I said what I said before I listed that because our mentions were wild, like a lot of angry people.
About what though? Like, what were they mad about?
A lot of people were just mad because they don't think that that's going to put the Cubs even at a 500 clip. There was a lot of people who think that's a 100 loss team, and it's like, I don't know if it's a 100 loss team if that rotation stays healthy, but I just want to put that out there that again. And I'm not trying to put words into Rick Sutcliffe's mouth, but I think we can all agree that the Cubs need to go get themselves a high-end starter in the offseason because you can't bank on Caleb Killian being an elite starter right away. You got to ease him back in there at some point, depending on how he does in the spring. And if they do call him up here in the second half after the deadline, whatever. There's a lot of things that go into these young pitchers, right? They can't just throw them in there and tell them to go throw 170 innings, right? So you need to add with the rotation. Hendricks, he's at the back end of his career. We've seen the inconsistencies now in the second year in a row. Stroman, I think you can feel good about Stroman next year. Keegan Thompson and Justin Steele are the 2 bright spots of that. I think you feel really good about those 2. And the potential of Caleb Killian is good.
I was going to say, I don't feel bad about Hendricks or Stroman either. I don't know. I know Stroman's been on the IL a lot, and I've seen Hendricks be up and down this year, but let's be honest. I think you're right. You go out and add a high-end starter next year. You take a little bit of the pressure off Kyle. Kyle becomes your number 2 starter next year, 2 or 3, depending on, what happens the rest of the season. I don't feel bad about that rotation at all. Caleb Killian still needs to show me a lot more. He needs to show us all a lot more that he's even going to be in the rotation to start on opening day next year, because guess who's coming back? We haven't talked about Adbert Alzolay yet.
Yeah.
He's another guy that's going to be competing for that 5th spot next year. So again, let's talk to Ryan. Maybe he's heard a little bit about that when he hops in here, but it's been really quiet on the Alzolay front. But either way, I don't know why people are getting upset about Sutcliffe's 5-man rotation. I know we want to go out and get the DeGrom, but guys, it's not going to happen. Nobody's outbidding the New York Mets for Jacob DeGrom next year. It's not going to happen.
Why would Jacob DeGrom want to leave
the
Mets and come to the Cubs, a team that's probably going to lose 90-plus games, while the Mets are one of the best teams in the National League? Now, money talks. I will say that. And if the Ricketts or Jet or whoever want to pull out, if they pony up and overpay for Jacob DeGrom, I would support it because I think he has the best stuff in all of baseball. Can he stay healthy? His last few years, it's been tough. But again, the potential, and if he stays healthy, he's the best pitcher in baseball. I don't think that's an argument.
when he's healthy, 100%. It's him, Verlander, and Scherzer.
Yeah.
And I think DeGrom can own that crown. I'm not arguing with you on that, but that's a pipe dream and a half, and it's not It's not going to take place. Nobody's going to outbid Stephen Cohen and the Mets for Jacob DeGrom services.
I will say a lot of the comments in that tweet were that, a lot of people are down on Hendricks, and right now Hendricks he's hurt again, and he's been inconsistent this year. Do you want Kyle Hendricks to be your number one starter? No, you don't. Not anymore.
No.
And I think that's the thing, because he listed Kyle Hendricks as his number one starter for next year. And again, I think I want to believe that that's his rotation based off how Marquee works. That's the best way that I can say. He's not going to say a potential free agent or anything out there. Again, this is on July 13th. And the only reason I tweeted is just because I just thought it was interesting. Like, that's not a bad rotation if they are able to stay healthy and you get the potential of a Killian and Justin Steele and Keegan Thompson continue to grow as pitchers, and Marcus Stroman stays healthy. Like, that's a lot of that's a handful of ifs, but still, like, if you get those, like, that's solid. I just don't think you can bank on all that, and that's why, again, I think the Cubs definitely need a high-end starter on the free agent market this offseason if they plan on being competitive in 2023. So,
I mean, what did Jed say this offseason? We need to add pitching. We need more pitching. We need pitching. That's all they talked about. But a lot of you got to remember that I think this team's going to pay for power in the next couple of years. I don't think they're going to go out and break the bank for pitching. You got to remember, too, Drew Smiley, I know he's been hurt a lot, but he has a mutual option for next year. He could be another guy. I could totally see him coming back next year and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm a veteran. My services aren't really that much needed around baseball. Yeah, I'm already in Chicago. Let's stick around. Let's do this thing. Wade Miley,
I would agree with that, but I also think he might be moved
at the deadline.
Yeah.
That could. I mean, we'll see. We got got a couple
I think
weeks.
we can really revisit that question on who's going to be in this rotation after August 2nd. Like, I think that's the big thing. But again, just wanted to bring that up because it was interesting. And, at the same time, the Cubs have a lot of up-and-coming arms. Jordan Wicks shoved last night in South Bend. We've seen DJ Hers be really good in South Bend too. I'm optimistic that maybe one or both of them get the call to Double-A before the end of the year.
Why not?
And then go into next year, pitching a Double-A or maybe get that early call, kind of like how we saw from some of the position players this year. I don't know, but I do think that Jordan Wicks has a really solid chance to be on the Cubs in the middle of next year. Maybe not DJ Hers, he's 19, but again, he's been very good, and the pitching front, at least on the Cubs farm, is very, very exciting
and deep too. A lot of guys just seems to be coming up from every level. You're right. It is exciting. Should we pay some bills?
Shall we pay some bills? You know what? I'm going to pay some bills because I want to bet tonight, guys.
And you sat through that whole game and you still want to bet.
I still want to bet. And I'm sorry to say that I did bet the Orioles. I mean, that team is red hot, man. Like, I just wrote the fact that the Orioles were underdogs in these two games with the hot streak that they're on. They were underdogs against the Cubs tonight. I was like, I'm going to hedge my emotions. You know what I mean? And Kevin, like I say on the show every time, I opened up my favorite app, PointsBet, today, and looked up the lines. And I love doing that every day. One, because I love gambling on sports, but two, because it is the best way to support CHGO. And if you use code CHGO when you sign up, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com and it'll help you out. Your home for live in-play betting just got even better. See an edge in the game you're watching. Is your favorite team primed for a comeback? If you live bet the Cubs tonight, then I think you should call 1-800-GAMBLER, because that would just not be a really good bet, but you can do it sometimes. I would be questioning your decisions if you did it tonight. I'm just saying. Don't just watch the game, bet along with it live. More live betting, more live markets, and faster live cash outs. Follow along with your bets the moment they hit and stay in the live action all game long. Download the PointsBet app right now and use promo code CHGO. So what are you waiting for? It's time to elevate your live betting game. Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services.
I don't know if you heard, Cody, but we do have a little breaking news. Chicago sports fans, you're home for the best Chicago sports coverage, now partnering with a leader in sports merchandise and collectibles. FOCO, not FOMO. No one had FOMO if you didn't watch the game tonight. FOCO, F-O-C-O. CHGO has teamed up with them to secure your access to the best collectibles and gear around, whether it's Bears, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, or Bulls. FOCO will have something for you, your kid, a friend, or a loved one looking to get some new gear, collectibles, or accessories. FOCO has officially licensed gear for men, women, and kids with everything from bobbleheads to swimsuits to Crocs. FOCO has got you covered with the best Chicago merchandise of your favorite team. Head on over to FOCO.com or click the link below in the YouTube description. And for all non-presale items, you can use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. I went on their website too, Cody, and I saw some matching pajamas. I think you, Ryan, and Luke would look pretty good in those on one of your future shows. It'd be pretty goofy.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, that didn't sound too.
I haven't.
That didn't sound.
I haven't gone on their site yet. They just became our new partner. I'm very, very excited about it. Everyone, go in the YouTube description, find it, and go support them. That supports us. I will be checking this out. I would love to see me and Luke at least doing a post game wearing like some Cubs pajamas.
They got bike shorts, they got straw hats, so some cool stuff on this website. I'm excited to do a little bit of a deeper dive myself into this one.
Jack says in the comments, I bet the Cubs go on another 10-game losing streak. Well, we got the Mets for 4 and we've dropped 6 straight, so I think it's a good bet.
But I mean, he is right. I mean, how many losing streaks has this team responded with winning streaks? I mean, that's been this year. Obviously, there's been more losing streaks than winning ones. But that being said, do I expect the Cubs to take the series from the Mets? No, I think they'll lose 3 out of 4. But hey, weekend at Wrigley, 120 starts all around. No more of these 7 o'clock starts for a little while.
Thank God, man.
Right? Come on. Get back. I know it's the shadow thing, but.
Yeah,
I like the 6:40 starts. That extra half hour is so nice.
Our buddy Matt Peck from CHGO Bulls was at Wrigley tonight. He was sitting.
Shout out, Matt.
He was in left center field, vibing with the folks out there. He sent us a video of the people making the cup snake, and it's kind of funny. I mean, we tweeted that out from the Twitter account too, and it's the team's down 7-1. People are angry. It's like because people are having fun, and I don't get it. So. I'm happy that we got 4 straight 120s and people can go vibe in the sun while this team continues to probably stink.
You know who I'm happy for? I'm happy for Matt Peck because he probably got his Miller Lite without waiting 4 or 5 separate times. Like he was saying in Vegas, he waited for like over an hour to get a Miller Lite that he ordered 4 times from this waitress. So Matt, I hope you had a wonderful time in the bleachers. My man, it's always a good time out there. Gotta get out to one of those. It's been way too long since I've been out to the bleachers, man. It's been over a year for me.
Wow.
June, that Cardinals game. That Rizzo 15-pitch home run.
I was at that game too.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
We got on the Jumbotron after Justin Fields got panned. They panned over to us. We're all sweating and 95 degrees. You were there too? Where were you sitting?
I was in left field.
Okay,
in left field bleachers with one of my buddies I went to college with. Yeah, you should go to a game sometime. You live in Lincoln Park. I live in Uptown. It's not that.
Got to make that happen. You, me, Corey, the rest of the Cubs gang. That'd be a lot of fun.
Okay, so I was told that today was a big day for anniversaries. All right. And Marquee, all the credit to Marquee about the biggest anniversary of today, Kevin. And that is that on this date in 2008, the Cubs got 8 All-Stars selected. That's the big anniversary. That's the big one. I didn't see it on Twitter, but Marquee definitely brought up the most important anniversary. Also, Corey did tweet at me tonight that John Lester hit a homer on this day in 2019. So I think that
look at that. See, I can't think of a better anniversary.
Right.
No question about it. Can you name, without looking, give me at least half of those 8 All-Stars? I looked it up, so I know who's on there. So go ahead.
After discussing it off air earlier, I think I can at least give you half of them.
Okay.
Carlos Marmol.
Yep.
Ryan Dempster.
Yep.
Kosuke Fukudome.
Yep.
Aramis Ramirez. Ryan Terrio?
Nope.
No? Okay. Carlos Zambrano?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. How many is that? 5,
I believe that's 5. Yeah.
5.
Kerry Wood was 6.
Kerry Wood was 1.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if that was I honestly had no recollection of that. And then 7, Alfonso Soriano. 8,
Alfonso. How did I forget
Giovanni Soto. Did you say him?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah,
How did I forget Soriano and
Giovanni
Soto?
Soto was the other one.
Oh my God.
What
I
an
don't know.
anniversary, man. The 2008 Chicago Cubs. Honestly, that team, I know they got swept in the playoffs, but that team was a team that kind of made me fall even further in love with baseball and the Wrigley Field atmosphere. I went to my first game in 06. They were bad. 07, they made the playoffs. 08, they made the playoffs. But that 08 team, I mean, I remember watching every game that summer. Alfonso Soriano was one of my favorite players. And, you know, it was cool because you got a little bit of the old early 2000s Cubs mixed in with some of the new ones. So
Right. Yeah. I didn't go to Wrigley Field for the first time until I was 20 because I grew up downstate. So, honestly, the first time I saw the Cubs play in person was at Busch Stadium, unfortunately.
Yeah, I heard they lost tonight, too. So
Good.
Well, did they lose? I know they blew a lead.
I knew they blew a 9th inning lead, but I don't know if they lost. But unfortunately, the first Cubs game I went to, they lost, and Starlin Castro was like the only good. It was like 2011, 2012, one of those years. Dark days. But 2008 Cubs. Yeah, I mean, watching them as a kid, growing up in an area where mainly as Cardinal fans, like it was fun to like get on the horse for that team and like, you know, get up for them and everything.
Take Jim Edmonds from them too.
Yeah, take Jim Edmonds from
Jim
them.
Edmonds, Cubs legend, 2008. Love that.
Do we want to like, you know,
we got to talk about it.
Do we have like, do we want to just like, what's the term? The horse in the room or the
elephant in the
elephant in the room. God, why did I say horse? I don't know. The elephant in the room. And we used the 2008 All-Stars as like a cover-up.
To shield our emotions.
To shield our emotions because today is the 5-year anniversary of the Jose Quintana trade. And I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
That is what it is.
I mean, Dylan Cease, borderline all-star this year, should have been an all-star in my opinion. One of the best pitchers in the American League, far and away the best starting pitcher the White Sox have had this year. Man, it
snub
stings
that he's not an all-star, honestly.
It stings.
Yeah,
it hurts. It hurts a little bit more this year than it has in the past. But he seems to be really, and this is no knock on Eloy Jimenez, but Cease seems to be the guy that we're going to miss the most. I mean, Eloy again tonight.
Okay, it's been 5 years, and I feel like the first couple years it was like, oh, we really going to miss Eloy because like he just came on the scene and lit the world on fire for the White Sox, and he had the fun attitude and all the great gifts, and he beat the Cubs at Wrigley in that random game.
Yeah,
thanks
and the home runs from Benetti.
Thanks Cubs from Benetti. And along the way, Dylan Cease really struggled to start his career at the White Sox. He had command issues, but now it's kind of reversed. Like Eloy can't stay on the field. He has like 1 homer this year, and he was out most of last year too. And Dylan Cease has turned into just a stud as a right-handed pitcher who touches 98, 99 easy. And if there's anything that I guess that we can be happy about is that at least that so far at this point, neither one of them have been great together. Like, I guess I don't know. Like I don't really. And Luke have talked about this. Like Cease is the one that we were always going to miss the most because the Cubs couldn't develop pitching. Blah blah blah. We talked all about it. You can go watch other shows if you want to listen to us talk about how this and this and this are the reason that the Cubs traded all the guys. Blah blah blah. And it had a lot to do with the lack of development on the farm and all this, and not being able to develop pitching. Dylan Cease was their one pitching prospect, and they traded him away from Jose Quintana. And yes, Jose Quintana was okay, but did he live up to the hype and the expectation that the Cubs got traded for him? No, he did not. And that's why people think he sucks, even though he really didn't stink. He just, he just wasn't as good as we had hoped.
And let's be honest too, you can't sit there as a Cubs fan and say when that trade was made that you were happy with it though.
Yeah. I mean,
it was Jose Quintana. He was having a great year, but you don't give up that kind of capital for a second at the highest, third best pitcher in your rotation. I mean, it was a bad trade. It was a bad trade. The White Sox won it by a mile.
Oh, for sure. In hindsight, I do think at the beginning though, in the moment, like I wasn't. I wouldn't say that I was happy about it, but I was just happy to see the Cubs trying to fill a issue they had. The issue at the time for the Cubs is that they didn't have any young, controllable starters outside of Kyle Hendricks.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lester was older, and they had at the time they didn't have Yu Darvish yet. They still had Jake Arrieta, who was going to be a free agent at the end of the year. They had a lot of older guys in that rotation. They didn't have anyone coming up. So the Cubs had to make some sort of move to get someone with controllable years and a little bit younger, and they got Jose Quintana in his late 20s. And, I do think his 17 season was good for the Cubs. He did help them win a playoff game. And, whatever.
But looking back on it now, what does this rotation miss the most? You look at the guys that they have right now. What do they miss the most? A power pitcher. They don't have one. They don't have a guy who's going to get you 8 to 10 strikeouts a game. They don't have you a guy that throws 98 to 100 consistently. To be a good team in today's day and age of baseball, you need 1 to 2 of those guys. You need guys that can throw gas and get you strikeouts on strikeouts on strikeouts. Dylan Cease this year, he's almost a 3-WAR player already. We're just over halfway through the year. I mean, he's got 142 strikeouts. He's almost thrown 100 innings. He's got a sub-3 ERA.
Right.
The fact that he's not an all-star is asinine.
But I agree.
I mean, it stings. It is the 5-year anniversary. And honestly, Eloy leaves the game again tonight with an injury. It's kind of been the moral of his career. We obviously don't wish that on him in any means. It really does suck to continue to watch him to struggle, especially a team in their window right now. But again, it's Cease, the guy that we are going to kick ourselves over. This is a guy who's going to be a perennial all-star.
Yeah. Reading the comments, Isaac says, my man Cody defending the Q trade. I don't think I'm necessarily defending it. It's more of like I'm
looking
just
at it from both angles.
Yeah, I'm looking at it from both angles. Like, yes, in hindsight, it looks bad. Like the White Sox have a perennial 40 home run hitter, and like you just said, like should be an all-star stud young pitcher. Like Dylan Cease is literally the makeup of every type of pitcher or any of a pitcher that any team wants.
Right.
To put at the top of the rotation. So yeah, it sucks. But I just feel like a lot of people forget why the Cubs did that to begin with. And if the Cubs would have won the World Series in 17 with Quintana, do you think people would talk about this trade?
Nope.
Exactly.
I mean, we would talk about it on the 5-year anniversary like we're doing now, but we wouldn't care. Right. Exactly.
To me,
we would care a lot less.
To me, it reminds me a lot of the Gleyber-Torres trade for Aroldis Chapman. That I don't like. The Cubs gave up 4 pieces to get Chapman, and Gleyber-Torres really is the only one who's really panned out. Billy McKinney was a first-round pick, but his career has never really panned out to anything. But again, that's just the way I just look at it from both sides of the spectrum. I think that the front office made moves that significantly hurt the organization worse than this Quintana trade. Yes, for sure. If they had Cease and Eloy, this team would be probably not in this rebuild mode for sure. And that's the part that sucks. But it all starts with the fact that they just couldn't develop any other talent in those years on the farm to come up and replenish the loss of Eloy and Cease. So that's just my opinion.
Cubs lose 7-1 tonight to the Orioles at Wrigley Field. It was a tough one. If you're just hearing my voice for the first time, I'd like to introduce myself again if you're just tuned in. My name is Kevin Wells. I'm hosting for Luke Stuckmeyer tonight. Luke's out for the next couple nights. I'll be in with pregame tomorrow and postgame as well. Luke is getting a colonoscopy tomorrow, so our best wishes to him.
Just use this moment to just say that Luke's getting a colonoscopy one more time.
Luke is getting a colonoscopy tomorrow. Our best wishes to him. I don't know him as well as you, so I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he did say it was okay for us to tell you that.
He did. And I just find it funny, and I appreciate you, reintroducing yourself because I this won't be the last time you're on the show. So
no, I'm really having a blast. Thanks again for letting me hop in here, and again, thanks to Jake and Kevin Kaduk for this opportunity. You talked about the trade for Aroldis Chapman, who ended up being a rental player for the Yankees. Now here we are in a similar situation, different position, but all-star caliber player, Wilson Contreras, likely to be traded at the deadline, who goes on Waddle and Sylvie on ESPN 1000 today and has these comments. I believe Joe, if you want to throw up that graphic when you get a chance, here we go.
Here it is.
You can go ahead and read. I can't read
Okay,
that
so-
from here. I don't have my readers on. I feel like I'm old, man.
You need
Turned
you need
25
readers
and
too?
I can't read.
Okay. Well,
I
Wilson
thought
Contreras
Stucky was out today. We're talking about the readers.
So like Kevin said, Wilson was on Waddle and Sylvia ESPN 1000 today. He said in that interview, he said they are always going to be my priority team, to be honest, really saying that as for the Cubs. I've been here for 13 and a half years, almost 14 years, and this has been my only team since I got signed back in 2009. And yeah, of course, I'm always willing to come back to my team. I think that's saying if he does get traded, he would be willing to come back in free agency.
That's huge, man.
Yeah, I mean,
That's huge.
the fact that he did say that, yeah, it is. I do think it is big. It's just he's saying that now on July 13th. How's he going to feel after wherever he goes? And who knows if it's the Mets or the Yankees? What if they're a good team? And what if they I just once a player, I think Luke told me this one time. Once a player goes somewhere and they experience what it's like to be part of that organization, if they like it, maybe they ain't going to want to leave. But also, they might want to test the market, because he's going to be a free agent. So I do think I do agree with you. It is kind of a big deal that he said that. Like, he wants to be here. I think I don't know how Jed feels about it. I don't know if he thinks that what he said is going to lower his trade value or anything like that. But
I think it does a little bit.
You think so?
I think it does a little bit. I don't know if Jed's sitting there shaking his head and he's all angry about this, but for a guy to say that they're going to be, well, I don't know. He almost said they're always going to be my number one team.
Mm-hmm.
So again, he's saying this in July. He's still a member of the Cubs. He's clearly been outspoken about his love for the city, the fans, Wrigley Field. I mean, this is not new. Wilson Contreras loves to be here. It's not new information, but the fact that the new piece of information is him saying, hey, no matter where I go, I'm still going to give the Cubs a shot to re-sign me because I love playing in this city. That's the type of guy you want representing your organization. And to be honest, I pointed this out to you, and I've seen this over the last couple of games. The promotions of Christopher Morel and Nelson Velasquez, the love that those three have, and even some other guys on the team too, but those three in particular, you see them talking in the on-deck circle. You see them shouting at each other from the dugout. You see them enjoying the game together. It seems like Wilson has a big part of these guys in their come up to the big leagues. I think that speaks a lot to his value, and who knows, maybe he just wants to keep playing with those guys. I think that it could honestly work out here in the Cubs' favor where, again, I think he's for sure getting traded.
Yeah.
You not sure on the fence, right?
I've pretty much I've set it in my expectations that he's going to be traded. I don't want to be the guy who's going to, basically ignore all of the rumors and all of that and then get my heart broken on August 2nd. So,
but we didn't hear this from Chris Bryant or Rizzo or Baez. They all said we love Chicago and love Wrigley Field, but they didn't go that far. We're like, oh, I'm going to give the Cubs my number one look. They didn't go that far.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's interesting. Gets the wheels turning a little bit, and it's going to be a long couple of weeks here till the trade deadline, but interesting stuff nonetheless from Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's absolutely tough, and I'm sure for him, like, he's counting down these last 4 days before the All-Star break so he can just go to LA and just kind of forget about this whole scenario, just take a break from it, and hopefully they don't ask him about it there. I'm sure he's open. But when the All-Star break is over, yeah, those final 2 weeks, it's gonna. I won't be surprised if his numbers dip a little bit. He's kind of struggled the last couple days just because, I don't want to say it's because of these rumors, but I mean, it kind of happened last year with Rizzo, Bryant, and Baez a little bit. No, all three of those guys didn't have the greatest year last year anyway. Well, Bryant was an all-star, and I thought he had a really good first half.
He had a good first half, yeah.
But, Rizzo and Baez definitely had down years last year, and I felt like as the deadline got closer, it became an even bigger distraction to them, and I felt like their numbers definitely it showed. So it'll be interesting to see how him and Ian Happ and a lot of these other trade pieces perform these last couple weeks with the rumor. And like everyone knows the Cubs are going to be major sellers. Like it's no, like it wouldn't be a shocker or anything like that. So for Contreras, to me, it's like I've said it before. If you're going to trade Contreras, then you better get some prospects, high-end prospects, because he's one of the top players in WAR, and you can DH him, you can catch him, use him as a catcher, whatever. And the DH is everywhere in the league now. And he's one of the best catchers in the league. You should be able to get some high-end prospects that are ready to play next year. If that's the only way that I'm truly, really going to be happy about it. If they get, these 18, 19-year-olds, kind of like how they got in the Rizzo trade and the Baez trade and the Darvish trade, then I'm going to be pissed.
It's going to sting.
It's going to sting. And the thing that it's going to sting is because it just doesn't make sense to me in terms of, well, now you have to find another catcher, or you have to replenish that position in the offseason and free agency. And it's like, all right, well, does that mean that the Cubs are going to be competitive in 2023? Well, you trade him and Happ. No, to me, that says that they're not going to be trying to win in 2023. So for the sake of us having to watch the Cubs in 2023, I hope that at least Happ stays. And I know you said you think Happ's going to be here, but I mean, if the Cubs get an insane offer for him, I wouldn't be surprised. And
I don't think they're gonna get their socks blown off from an Ian Happ trade. I really don't. I think that he's got some, he's got another year of control, which makes him valuable. But I got a gut feeling, and I think he is a type of bat that gives you versatility, and he's a guy that Jed's going to want to keep around for this team. He's a Jed player, contact guy, versatile guy. That's the type guy whose strikeout rate is down. Those are Jed Hoyer qualities. That's what he's looking for in a player. But you're right. The Contreras thing is, I'm with you. They need to get some damn good prospects from him, or I'm going to be upset about it too.
Right.
He's having a great year, and it's almost like he went through this last year with those other guys, and maybe he thought he was getting traded, so he's had these emotions before. Because tonight he struggled at the plate, but the last few nights, I mean, he's on base, he's hitting the ball hard. I mean, it doesn't seem to have been affecting him a whole lot. And I know,
he's having a great year. I just feel like over the last week, it's been kind of, like it hasn't been what we've seen. And I mean, he's having such a great year that I shouldn't have that expectation, but he's been that good that I've gotten to the point where I expect something great from him every night. RWB team says in the comments, what did he say? Let's just scroll past it. Oh, here it is. Imagine if Wilson gets traded and then re-signs with us again. Imagine if they do that and we get prospects for nothing. I mean, yeah, that is the ideal situation, right?
That's what we're hoping happens.
If I could have if someone could tell me my the future and told me that was going to happen, then I would sign up for that right away. And I think he mentions some prospects from the Padres. That one makes a lot of sense. He lists Luis Campusano, and if they can get a guy like Luis Campusano, that is one of the top catching prospects in baseball.
That'd be great.
If you can get a guy like that, then okay, I can get past it. It will suck and it will sting, but at least you have a catching prospect that has value right now that you can throw out there and see what you got and hope and pray he turns out to be really good. So,
right. And like you said, the Cubs are definitely sellers. They're 12.5 back now from a wild card position. So no chance. I mean, it's going to make all the sense in the world when he gets moved, and we'll definitely touch on that more. We got about 3 weeks though until we get to that. Yeah.
Okay, so I see our good friend Ryan Herrera has entered the chat, and before we get to him, because I want to make him have to listen to me now, I want to tell Ryan and the rest of the chat about my favorite app, PointsBet. We talked about it earlier, but I just really want to emphasize just how awesome it is. I want to bet tonight. Get that little green check whenever you want to bet on the bet slip, and it hits your heart a little bit different. That's just one of the many reasons why I love PointsBet. I also love it because if you enjoy CHGO, the only way to help us continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you only not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com and we'll help you out. And in case if you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. Has been since March, like a long time. Like if you've been under a rock, like it is. You can actually download the PointsBet app, register your account from start to finish, all from your phone right now. I tell Luke, I used to tell Luke a lot. Our ads have changed. I haven't told him recently, but I used to tell him all the time. You can just sign up from your phone. And if he can do it as easily as he did, so can you. You'll be signing up with fastest sportsbook easier. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Mr. Herrera, welcome.
Hello, how's it going, gentlemen?
I'm good. Can you now explain to us what that balk or the Daniel Norris balk?
Oh, that was a serious question on Twitter. I mean, he went through the whole pitching.
Man, it wasn't a serious question. I just really wanted you to in-depthly tell us how the hell, like what a balk is.
I want the real number. I want the letter. I want to hear the whole thing.
Because like it was the most bizarre balk I've ever seen. Like Daniel Norris goes to throw a pitch and it looked like maybe he fell off the mound or something like that and didn't even throw the ball.
He went through the whole pitching motion, but the ball never left his hands. Like that's the balk. I don't know what the rule is, but
I think the joke is that no one ever knows what a balk is, and like I had never seen a pitcher just fall off the mound like he had. So I was like, what is going on? And a run scored on it, and it was just peak dumpster fire Cubs at that point. Like,
I mean, it just kind of sums up the Daniel Norris experience, if you will.
Yeah.
He struggled again tonight. A lot of contact, a lot of base runners. Yeah. He added to the ERA of what's his face who pitched before him.
Chris Martin.
Chris Martin. Poor Chris Martin.
Trade value.
So Ryan, obviously the news of the day today, before the game started, Kyle Hendricks now not throwing 2 to 3 weeks. Bad news on a few fronts. Obviously, that's a big loss for your starting rotation. Another one that this rotation just hasn't been healthy all year long. And 2, if you were looking to get something for him at the deadline, has that ship sailed, you think?
I would assume so. I don't think – because it's 2 to 3 weeks until he can even start throwing.
Exactly.
That's kind of the thing. That takes you well past the trade deadline, I think. I'm doing the math correctly. I think it takes you a little bit, right up to or at least past the trade deadline, whatever it is. That's just to even like play catch. And I mean, you have to go through the whole throwing progression, a minor league rehab assignment, even pitching in major league games. I don't think Kyle Hendricks is ever at risk of being traded, if that's the right word to use. But no, I wouldn't say there's like a shot that he gets traded anymore after this, after the going on the IL and now knowing that kind of a little bit, we don't have a full timeline on it, but a little bit of like clarity on when, where at least the beginnings of this timeline for his recovery are. Like, I don't think it's that getting, I don't think you have to worry about Kyle Hendricks being traded from the Cubs this year.
Yeah. 2 weeks would bring us to the 27th. The trade deadline is August 2nd. So that if he were to go the full 3 weeks, that's beyond the trade deadline. So like you said, I agree. I don't think that's a viable option anymore. So Cody, rest easy. You no longer have to say you hate it here.
Yeah. I just always felt like Kyle Hendricks was just going to be here forever because he's got on such a good deal and he's been a part of so many great moments. I don't care if he is on the back end and he's trending down and he's inconsistent. I'd rather him be a Cub than not be a Cub. If that's selfish of me, I'm sorry. So, and selfishly, I'm kind of happy that he's hurt so that he's going to make it past the trade deadline. So sorry to everyone who hates him.
Mm-hmm. That's coming into town.
What's that, Cody? You can rest easy knowing that Kyle Hendricks will end 2022 in a Cubs uniform. Like
I will. You have another question there, Kevin?
I was gonna pitch him about the upcoming series. You got something about this game?
I do want to ask about, I guess the vibe in the clubhouse. 6 straight losses. I mean, I don't know, man. Like last time they were here, they were playing well, and now they've lost 6 straight. Like, is there anything different in there tonight compared to last night or during the 10-game losing streak? I don't know.
I mean, the vibe is always the same after a loss. Like, no one's happy. But they also know that they have to come back tomorrow and play another game. I think in baseball, there are obviously going to be players that take losses harder. Take wins better, like keep wins kind of the vibe of a win going, whereas they keep the loss going as well. But I think baseball players in general do a good job of kind of washing things as soon as the game is over and getting ready for the next day. It's not like there's kind of been, you've seen it on Twitter a little bit, and sometimes you hear them playing "Go Cubs Go" after a win in the clubhouse. Obviously, that hasn't happened the last 6 games. And so the vibe is just not obviously as good, and that's just kind of expected for losing. Like they're on a 6-game losing streak. They're 20 games under 500. Like it's not going to be a cheery clubhouse. People,
right.
They're going to be mad, but again, I think they're good at knowing that they have to come back tomorrow and still play another game. So
right.
Once they
what about
Justin
Steele though? He had a rough start in the first couple
the
innings.
New dad.
Yeah, and then he turned it around. I mean, he came out with not even 90 pitches. I thought about maybe they throw him back out there for the 7th. We were comparing him. He was a very John Lester-like on a not so good night Lester outing. You know what I mean by that? Anything from him post game?
Yeah, I mean he said the last start he had was the 4th of July, I want to say. Mm-hmm. So it's been 9 days since he started. He said he stayed home from the Dodgers trip, obviously to be with Libby and make sure that if she went to labor and had a baby, he wasn't across the country. But during that time when he's kind of here by himself, he said he was like throwing balls into a net, trying to keep loose, trying to do stuff that's not in his normal routine. And part of that is also 9 days in between starts is certainly not normal in his routine. So he said he kind of did feel like he had to, get a little bit of the rust off going into this start. And you saw that early on. But I mean, it wasn't even like it wasn't a ton of hard contact or anything like that. Like Justin Steele has been really good at limiting hard contact, I think. I want to say Jordan Bastion put out a tweet that Steele kind of had the lowest barrel rate of like qualified starters, something like that. So I'm like, he's always like this whole season been really good at limiting hard contact, barrels, that kind of stuff. And I feel like he did that again tonight. The Orioles had a couple hits, found the outfield grass. But yeah,
I thought the middle innings was good.
Well, yeah, no, after the first 3 innings, I think he had 54 pitches to the first 3. Even Ross said, he thought maybe 4 or 5 for Steele, and then Steele was able to go out, get through those middle innings pretty efficiently and was able to give him 6. Obviously, at that point, it was 4-1 already by the time Steele came out. And the offense was just not there tonight.
Not there.
But like you said, it was good. John Lester-esque, where he goes up there, doesn't have his best stuff early, kind of knocking the rust off, figuring some things out, and then adjusting it and getting through those middle innings efficiently, quickly, and giving them, he got another quality start tonight. 6 innings, 3 earned runs, like that's another quality start. So, Steele, kind of got asked like how he feels he's grown since he became a starter, right? It was August last year, right? And he just he feels like that he's really grown. He's taken positive steps in different things, and I think you kind of see that just especially this last month and a half or so, maybe a little bit longer than that. Like he's really starting to kind of figure some things out, come into his own. And that's what this season's supposed to be about. Win-loss record aside, because he's what now? I don't know if he's 3-6 now.
3-6.
Win-loss record aside, the season's been about seeing him take positive steps and growing as a starting pitcher. And I think obviously you've seen that. He got drilled on that first pitch, or not first pitch, that first batter.
Right off the back of the leg.
Yeah.
I said
stayed in the game, toughed it out.
Yeah, it was unfazed. I said it was just that dad strength, that new dad strength coming in, taking that to the leg and getting up. But it's good to see Justin go out there and look like an effective big league pitcher. Obviously you would love to have every start go perfect, right? You'd love to have him go not running any trouble. But on the other side of it is like when he does run into trouble, like he did the first couple innings, it's good to see him bounce back, get out of that, and start to kind of find the groove there in the middle innings. Kind of show that he has the ability to, when he does run into trouble, learn to figure out where the adjustments need to be and kind of get out of that and get back into his own little groove.
Yeah, and we mentioned this earlier in the show, but I think it's worth mentioning again. 8 straight starts now for Steele where he's gone 5+. I mean, it's just straight up impressive. I don't care what level you're at in Major League Baseball. Going 8 straight games as a starter, 5+, everybody's going to have a snafu every once in a while. That's impressive. He's keeping the ball in the ballpark. No home runs I know he's only had 2 starts in July. No home runs in July. Only 3 home runs given up in June. Only 1 home run given up, or in 1 home run given up in June, 3 home runs given up in July, and then we're looking at 1 home run given up in the month of May in all those starts. I mean, he's keeping the ball in the ballpark. You're looking at more strikeouts than walks. I mean, he's been straight up impressive. And you're right, going 9 days without a start. I love to see that from a guy who's probably going to be, your 3rd or 4th starter next season. But good stuff from Steele. Mets are in town. 2nd best team in the National League. They're loaded. I mean, is this team is it gonna be another multi-game losing streak? Are they gonna have, I believe now is it gonna stretch to their 4th, 10th double-digit losing streak in a calendar year? Because honestly, I think we could all see it, right? And jokes aside, this Mets team is very, very good.
Yeah. Before I answer that, Cody, go ahead and give me a point and who you got, because I think I very clearly won who you got today.
I don't know about that. Christopher Morel is the one reason that they scored a run.
He had Steele, quality start today. Come on. Quality start.
Morel had an RBI.
I get the point.
He had a triple.
Yeah, I'll give it to Ryan. He's right. Quality starts better than an RBI.
I got the point.
All right. Especially in a 7-1 loss.
I had Contreras. I lose. Sorry, Luke. My point would have gone to Luke if I would have won. I would have graciously donated him my point, but no good on this end.
Okay, back to your question.
Yeah, Mets in town.
I was going to get to who you got eventually, Ryan.
No, you guys were going to skip over that.
I was not. I definitely was going to bring it up. I was definitely going to bring up the fact that Stuckey put one in the Slack trying to get in on this, even though he shouldn't be.
Yeah, he's not even there. He's not even on the call right now. How's he wouldn't even be able to argue his case right now. He's not even on the call. But back to Kevin's question. I think it's very possible, very possible the Cubs and go into the All-Star break on another double-digit losing streak. You got the Mets. The Mets are good. Staff is good. You got Walker, Scherzer coming up over the weekend. Even Carrasco's tomorrow. Keegan's been doing really well. I think Keegan gives them a shot to win tomorrow. The expectations, they're 20 games under 500, so it's hard to say that you can confidently expect them to win a game. I do think Keegan gives them a chance to win tomorrow.
Best shot tomorrow for sure.
If the offense shows up, Stroman.
Stroman revenge game.
It's his second.
You're right.
Second start. Yeah. Second start since coming off the IL. So I don't know if that limits the expectation on what he can do on Saturday. It is a Marcus Stroman revenge game. You're right. So maybe that
And the Mets fans hate him, so I mean, like, who knows? Maybe they can sneak one. I would just like to win
I could see him getting one. I think
Maybe.
they lose 3. I think they'll lose 3 or 4, but I think they'll get one. I think tomorrow's your best shot.
Right.
It's hard to lose 10 games in a row. It is hard.
Well, it's happened 3 times in a calendar year,
Yes,
Ryan. Anything's
yes,
possible.
I know that.
It might happen
But I'm
again.
saying-
Right.
But what I'm saying is I remember I was on with Corey and Brendan at the end of this last 10-game losing streak after the Padres swept them, and I said something about baseball being weird. Teams are hot, teams are cold, but anything can happen on a given day. And Corey and Brendan made fun of me, and then the Cubs went out and won the next day and won 2 out of 3 against the Braves. So anything can happen in baseball, man. Anything can happen. But,
well, the way you just said that means that the Cubs might win tomorrow. 6 straight.
They got to get a win
losses.
for me. I'm doing pre and post tomorrow. They got to get me at least one win on this little thing that I have. I don't get much time back here, so let's get a win tomorrow, right?
How you feeling on your on camera debut?
I'm loving it, man. And I thank you for allowing me to be on here too. Your guys' show. This is a blast. I'm having a lot of fun. It's not new for me to be behind the mic, but it's new for me to be in front of the camera. And I'm doing a little different facial hair. I got a little stash going and whatnot.
He came in with all the stash ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I'm enjoying it. So thank you for asking, and thank you for making it easy on me. You coming in here and filling a whole block and makes it really helpful. Do we have anything else but we want to add before we I
did want to bring up Ethan Roberts had successful Tommy John surgery.
Right.
So
Yes.
they put
Good
it on
call.
marquee.
Did.
Hopefully, things work out. We see him in
Blows,
2024 probably.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. Obviously, don't have like a timeline on him yet, but it's going to be a little bit. Madrigal, I know, everyone's out on Madrigal already, but he left the game Sunday, I believe, with a little bit of tightness in the groin. Came back, got checked out. Rossi said it doesn't really seem like it's anything that's going to keep him down for too long. So I know he's here. He's in Chicago, building up some strength and building that strength back in the groin. I know they want to get him back out on that rehab assignment as soon as possible, and then kind of go from there. I mean, I don't know if he can.
I think we can confidently say he probably could be ready for after the All-Star break.
I think he could. That kind of just depends on when he goes back out there, how many at-bats they really want him to get, if they just want him to really get in a good rhythm down there before they bring him back up. Obviously, the roster crunch doesn't help things either, but we'll see when the time comes. But that's kind of just the update we got on him, is that not expected to be down for too long, just kind of building him back up really quickly and then getting him out there again.
Okay. Well, I think that's it. I do want to.
Yeah, Ryan, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Shout out to you for going and watching the dumpster fire in person. I appreciate it.
Matt,
I hope the press box food was good tonight. Hope the press box food was good tonight. Hope it's even better tomorrow. Maybe you get a little soft serve in there, a little ice cream, in honor of Luke.
Yeah.
Not until we get chicken and waffles.
Oh,
hasn't happened in a while.
For some reason my computer turned off, but there was a comment in the YouTube chat from an Orioles fan who said that they loved what we are doing, and probably because they don't have something like that in Baltimore. So I'm just emphasizing that we are different.
It's great
here.
sports town.
Not only are the Cubs, it's different here. It's also different here at CHGO. So if you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe now, because we're gonna be back tomorrow to talk about the Cubs again. And I mean, at least we get Keegan Thompson Day, man. The mayor's going back out to prove that he should be the mayor of Chicago.
No team has won more games. What's that, Ryan?
I said it's appointment television at this point. Cody likes to say it. It's appointment television at this point.
Absolutely.
No team has won more games in baseball from 2012 to 2016 than Buck Showalter's Baltimore Orioles, but they never won 8 in a row. They're on a 10-game winning streak now. They're a success story in baseball, so Cubs are on another 6-game losing streak, complete opposite end of the spectrum. Orioles are playing in a tough division. Cubs will look to avoid getting swept by them on August 18th. when they go back out to
series.
Camden Yards after that game that got rained out.
Yeah. Brandon Hyde's going to have it on his calendar. He's ready for the revenge series sweep or whatever you want to call it.
I feel bad for those guys. They got to go all the way back out to Baltimore. Cubs losing the first 3 of the set interleague matchup to the Baltimore Orioles. They got the Mets tomorrow. Keegan Thompson going. Best chance to win, we think, here. But Cody, Ryan, thanks, guys, for welcoming me in here on my first show. I look forward to getting back at it tomorrow. So thanks for dropping in to check out the CHGO Cubs postgame show. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And good luck to Luke Stuckmeyer as well. Our wishes are with you, as we've mentioned a few times, getting a colonoscopy. So
yeah, hopefully he at least flies a W tomorrow.
We'll see you guys later.